Gothmog, the head of the Inferno and commander of the Angaban, was one of the main servants of Morgoth, the Dark Lord of the First Age. Gothmog belonged to Maya, a powerful deity created by Iluvita before the birth of the universe. Seduced and deceived by the Mirko, Gothmog chose to serve the Mirko and thus fell into darkness, becoming a horrific inferno, and was appointed the head of the Inferno and High Commander of Angband. During the Battle of Starfall, Gothmog led the Infernals to intercept Fëanor, king of the Noldor, who had fallen on his own, and he struck Fëanor hard, knocking him to the ground. Although Fëanor was saved by his sons in the nick of time and Gothmog retreated, Fëanor died of his wounds soon after. During the Battle of the Rain of Tears, Gothmog was the commander of the Western Front, commanding his army as he drove Turgon and Huron's forces toward the swamps of Sarek, while surrounding the forces of the High King of Noldor, Fingon, whom he personally fought. The two fought to a standstill until another inferno wrapped a whip of fire around Fingon, and Gothmog took the opportunity to raise his black axe and slice open Fingon's helmet, killing him. Gothmog then captured Huron and dragged him bound to Angband, despite the fact that Gothmog's ogre guards suffered heavy casualties trying to capture Huron alive. Gothmog also fought in the Battle of the Fall of Gondolin, in which he was slain by Ecthelion, Lord of the House of Surge. Gothmog's list of accomplishments is long, but he is most proud of having killed two of the highest elven kings of the Noldor during his lifetime, Fëanor and later Fingon. In the battle under the stars, the supreme king of the Noldor tribe, Fëanor, defeated Morgoth's army, but when he was pursuing him, he was surrounded by Gothmog and his Infernals, and was outnumbered by them. In the Battle of the Rain of Tears, Supreme King Fingon was killed by Gothmog. Fingon was entangled in the battle by another Inferno with a whip of fire, and he was finally hacked to death from the front with the Black Axe by Gothmog, and Fingon was killed in the battle. During this battle, Gothmog also captured the human war hero Hulin by order of Morgoth. Hulin was so brave that his axe cut down many of Gothmog's ogre guards, and by the end of the battle, Hulin's axe had almost melted off. The orcs who kept coming up to him had their arms cut off when they touched his weapon, and finally had to swarm up to him, with Gothmog holding Huron in the bale so that he couldn't move, and mocking him all the way back to Angband to hand him over to Morgoth. Later, Gothmog was involved in the attack on the hidden mystical kingdom of Gondolin. He was in charge of the front line of the attack, and personally stacked up the steel siege equipment to suppress the resistance of the Gondolin soldiers, and he also encountered Tuor, an Ednic warrior from the Hadar tribe, and the two sides were engaged in battle, but unfortunately, during the battle, Tuor was felled to the ground by Gothmog's attack. Just when the seriously wounded Tuor was about to be killed by Gothmog's fatal blow, a Noldor elf from the Fountain clan leapt up and blocked the attack with his shield, saving Tuor, who was none other than Ecthelion, the legendary guardian of the Great Gate of Gondolin, who was temporarily unable to lift his left hand with his shield due to the full force of Gothmog's blow. After a scuffle between the two sides, Ecthelion's right hand, which was holding the sword, was also injured, and the sword fell out of his hand, making both hands unusable. But in a surprising move, Ecthelion then leapt at Gothmog, thrusting the spikes of his helmet into Gothmog's chest and killing him with him, and they both ended up falling into the king's fountain. There, even if Gothmog had not been stabbed to death, he, as an inferno, would have drowned along with his opponent. As a result of this battle, Ecthelion sacrificed his own life to destroy Gothmog, and the King of Inferno died as a result. Gothmog appeared in Tolkien's early work The Book of Lost Legends, according to which Gothmog was the son of Milvis and the ogress Frui Changin, and was known as Kothmogt, Kothmogkal, or Kalimbo in the Quenya language. However, the setting of Ainu being able to produce an heir was eventually discarded. The Book of Lost Legends details the exploits of Gothmog during the Battle of the Fall of Gondolin, where he was the commander of the Milvis army that attacked Gondolin. The steep hills of Amon Gwaris, where Gondolin was located, hindered the attack of the Milvian army, so Gothmog summoned the Iron Dragons and ordered them to be stacked, their height exceeding that of the hills, right up to the northern gates of Gondolin at the top of the hill. The weight of the Iron Dragons crushed the gates, and the orcs they carried in their bellies poured into the city. When Log led the Raging Hammers in a counterattack, Gothmog, who also commanded the Infernals, met them and wiped out the Raging Hammers. Another early work by Tolkien, The Song of the Children of Hurin, mentions an Inferno leader named Luengashin. It is difficult to determine whether this is an alias for Gothmog or a different Inferno than Gothmog, but Christopher Tolkien believes the second speculation is more likely.